Hello there, and happy Halloween. Usually, Only One Fans is on a Monday, but today I thought I'd bump it to the 31st because I needed more time to edit this, to be honest with you. So, happy Halloween. Could have done a Palpatine laugh there, ladies and gentlemen. Got some bad news, I got some good news. The bad news is I don't have Nomenor to open for you. In previous years, I've talked about figures in Star Wars, characters in Star Wars that very much embody the whole Halloween thing, you know, scary. But that is a figure still today I would love to get hold of, Nomenor. I'd love them to reissue that. It just reminds me of He-Man and all that kind of thing, Masters of the Universe. I'm still just old enough to remember that era. Moving on, ladies and gentlemen, apart from that, the only other real characters we've had that have been quite Halloweeny in recent years are those zombie troopers, ladies and gentlemen. So, quite quirky though they were in the O.O.K series. So, ladies and gentlemen, today's show, I'm going to be answering a few questions later on, so do stay tuned. Speaking of opening figures, ladies and gentlemen, I will be opening R5 Zomb, or Z0MB, R5 Zomb, Zombie. He's the droid I picked up when I was at Hollywood Studios this summer. I've been waiting since August to open him. I will be answering some questions in one voice, as usual, and speaking of answering questions, I have asked some experts to answer a question of my own. Yes, indeed, ladies and gentlemen, I'll be bringing back Ask the Experts for this episode, and you will be hearing from Bosk's Bounty, ladies and gentlemen, no less. The man himself will be answering a question or giving me his thoughts on a question I had related to something in TVC. I think that's about everything that's going to be happening in this episode. Just a little bit of housekeeping as well, if you haven't already seen. I picked up on eBay recently the Geonosis Battle Arena. Really excited about that. I'm going to be saving that one, just like I saved the R5 Zomb since August. I'm going to be saving that until Christmas, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to be opening it on Christmas Day. Not literally on Christmas Day, nah, I won't have time, but I will be pre-recording that, and that will be a Christmas Day video. It's a tradition on this channel. And the only other thing that's been going on with me is I've been very hard at work with my carded collection, getting really into that, folks, looking for variants in VC 1.0. So yeah, finding more space for the surplus variants and stuff. Ladies and gentlemen, one more time, happy Halloween. Thank you for joining me. Let's get on with today's show. Boom.
Hi there, mate. Hope you are well. Yeah, so regarding the Razor Crest, I would imagine that the prices will go up once that film comes out. And in fact, I think they may have crept up a little bit recently. One of our good friends sold one at Echo for I think it's 575, 600 pound for a sealed one, which has crept up ever so slightly. I saw them going for roughly about 500 pounds. So that is a little increase. And yeah, definitely once it's featured in that film, I would suggest that the prices will go up. So if you are after one, I would advise buy one now instead of when that film comes out. And maybe even if you're looking to sell one, perhaps wait. So that's my opinion. Cheers, buddy.
Onto your question, Razor Crest. I've got it at valued about 500 quid at the moment. I don't see them selling for much more than that. There's some people listing them for dearer than that, but they're not selling. And once it's in the film, will it go up any more than that? It might creep up a little bit, but to be honest, mate, I don't see it doubling in price or anything like that. I think it's pretty settled at where it is, to be honest. I mean, what did they make? 28,000 of them, was it? Maybe 29. I mean, that's far more than the barge or the cantina, for that matter. I just don't see it going up in value like people would have hoped it would. But that's just my opinion, mate. And sounding the way I sound, I wouldn't bother using this in your video. I just thought I'd answer your question.
Alrighty, so I bought this back in August and I knew 100% that I was going to open it for the Halloween special. So here it is. This is R5 Zomb. And when I was out there in 2019, I should have bought they had a droid called Boo or something, R5 Boo, B-O-O-O, like Boo. Like it was like a skeleton type droid. I should have bought that then, because that goes for massive amounts of money. So I only bought one of these just to open. I didn't think about investment or anything like that because it would be just my luck that there'd be thousands more of these than there were of the Boo. It's just the way it goes, man. It's a nightmare, innit? It just looked really cool, the black and white one. But this is just interesting because it's a bit crazy, really, isn't it? Look at it, like a zombie head. Half his skull is missing kind of thing. It's just weird, isn't it? I just thought, why not, Where's he supposed to be here? Look at that. That looks a little bit like Exegol. Not Exegol. It looks like, when Rise of Shite Walker, what's it? He was on Mustafar, but there was a forest growing on Mustafar. What's it say? All different types of droids popular in the Star Wars galaxy. This droid can be found wandering the black swamps of Corvax. Corvax, I know that name. Oh! Corvax Fen on Mustafar. Yay! The boy got it right. I knew that forest looked familiar. So that must be on Mustafar Forest or City, I have no idea. But still, do you know what? I'm going to freeze frame that for you. Ladies and gentlemen, let's go handheld so you can have a read of that yourself. Camera noise. But still, enough about that. Let's talk about R5 Zomb. We've got all these interesting labels as well on him. This is quite interesting. I didn't realise how much was going on the packaging. Let's have a look at him. Auditory sensors. He's got different languages there. Multiple language, holographic projector. Wow. I didn't know they went to such detail. Interesting, huh? Where I'm going to put him, I don't know. I would really want a HasLab Sandcrawler because I've got tons of droids now. They could all go in there. That'd be awesome, wouldn't it? I would like that very much. One day, maybe. I think that we've got two HasLabs that still haven't arrived at the point of making this video. The Ghost, and then we've got the Cantina. And then no doubt the 6-inch line will want to bite at the cherry. Although they all fail. At the time of making this video, they've all failed, previous ones. But I'd love a Sandcrawler. I've got a Droid Shelf, and I could put him on there, but it's getting a bit crowded. And still nice, though. Look at him, he's interesting, isn't he? Very interesting. Should we get R5 Zomb open, ladies and gentlemen? Should I booyah? Should we booyah it? Tell you what, when you rip these bubbles off, you get a perfect... Well, previous ones I've opened like this, Droid Factory ones, they come off perfectly and you have to open the back of them. You just do it, man. Oh, yeah! Oh, a little bit of a rip there. That doesn't matter. R5 ZOMB or Zomb or Zomb. Zomb, I meant Zomb. He's in there pretty good, man. It's not an easy pop out. Let's see the state of this. Oh my god, he's really hard to get out. Wow. Part of me regrets not getting one to keep mint, really, but that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Give you a quick close-up now before I set him up. I like his finish, though. Yeah, he looks aged as well, as battered on the side. He really would just go well in a scrapyard diorama of some sort. As I say, I have a lot of... I'll show you in a minute. I've got a load of droids on one shelf. It's like an extension of the droid sale. I put all sorts on there, so do stay tuned. Don't think I'm going to have time this episode for a spotlight special, but what I will do is give you a little tour of the Droid Shelf. I've shown you in other videos in the past. I've got my gel screen on my phone, so apologies if you hear any background noise. But it's a quirky droid, isn't it? And there's a nice bit of paint application on, you know, the outside there. Of course, you've got the hollow inside, but the cut bit has got a silver application of paint there, which is good. They could have just gone with green, but no, gives it that metallic look. I like it. And then the oil drips there are pretty good. Coming from the eye. Let's get him on super zoom. He does look possessed as well. Those red eyes, actually, yeah. 2 red and 1 black on the right. And that speckled look on the plastic, that takes me back to the Power of the Force 2. There's a few droids that are like that. In fact, the R5 droid, which I don't mind going and getting actually, had that speckle. And also the T-16 Skyhopper had that kind of speckled look. Very interesting. Wheels on the base there. That will be removable, no doubt. Let me just check. Let's have a look. Yeah. I mean, it does look like a broken toy, to be honest with you, but it's still interesting. There's a filler, but this is what I was talking to you about. You see the speckles in him? Well, I don't know why the plastic does that. It can't be paint. It could be, but there's just so many tiny little bits in it. It's like, it gives it that kind of an aged look, a rustic look, but at the same time, it's, you know, it's embedded inside the plastic. Let's have a look at my droid shelf then, and we'll have a comparison of this zombie droid with a regular R5. This is what I've got going on here now. This is all soon going to migrate over. All those things there. I talk about the Sandcrawler and how nice that would be, but everything here is very appropriate for Tatooine. And given I'm going to have my cantina stuff here, there's always the potential to have the homestead above it, or below it, whatever, over there as well, and have the droids mixed in and around the streets of Mos Eisley, plus on the homestead. So there's another R5. And this is this dude. Just to give you a bit of a comparison of a regular one. And these are all the accessories I was just talking about. Which it wasn't long ago that I was showing off the shelf, actually. But there, you can see you've got Lola there, and random other bits and bobs. Legs that have come from Legacy Collection Builder Droids. I love it. Heads of battle droids. Star Tours droids. Random droids. It's one of my favourites. I love having him facing that way, though, because you can see the Arabesh on this dome. That's from the Solo line, that one. Builder droid back in the day. You know, I love it. Here's another droid that has that type of plastic. Something you can see the speck. I'm sure the speckles in that as well. Just the way it's painted. Reflects its era. Hope I'm making sense, ladies and gentlemen. Just reeling off my thoughts. This one might have it as well. If I just zoom in, it's like you can see it mixed in. Looks like dust, but it isn't. That's part of the... Pretty sure it's not dust. Can you see there? Similar. Now that droid sadly has a bad eye, that R2, but I have him facing that way again. But it's accurate because he's got the restraining bolt on him, so that's why I have him there. Although actually, Luke wouldn't have put it on him by then. Oh no, he did have the restraining bolt. The Jawas would have put it on him. Luke was then trying to take it off, so he's perfect, that droid there. But I have him facing that way because his eyes are not so good. There's other stuff here. They're all from like Legacy Collection, you know, Build-A-Droid stuff. Just the spare parts, and they all go on this shelf. They find their way here. Right, folks. Thank you for watching that. That has been a review of this dude, R5ZOMB Zombie Droid. Appropriate for Halloween, ladies and gentlemen. Boom.
Hello Nick, hoping you're keeping well my friend. A question for you. With it being the 25th anniversary of the Phantom Menace this year, do you feel Hasbro could have and should have done more in the way of releases for the 25th anniversary in TVC?
Oh, Stuart, man, thank you very much. As ever, a brilliant question. And happy birthday, man. As of yesterday, 50 years young is Stuart, and go check out his channel, Universal Toy Collector. Shall leave a link to that below, ladies and gentlemen. And yes, the answer is just yes, an emphatic yes. There's so much they could have done, man. It's just terrible, isn't it? We've had some good things and some exciting moments in 2024. But if I had my way, you would have had a brand new wave, 12 figures easy you could have done. Not to mention reissues they could have done, like a brand new Qui-Gon, an updated face for Obi-Wan. Excuse the state of the shelves at the minute, folks, because that face that will not do it. Loads of characters we could have had. Can you imagine they did a wave of 12 back in 2012, and it was a really good wave. That was one of the figures you got with it. You got him, but you could have had, you know, there's so many characters. You could have had these two, maybe another one of him with soft goods like that one, potentially. They gave you that in Retro Collection. It got me excited, thinking, well, they do have in TVC, but we already have a queen in TVC. This one here, that's a really good one. I don't know why they're stood together. As I say, the shelves are a bit under construction. People like Panaka, Captain Panaka, it would have been awesome. So they could have had some updates to figures like that exist already. Qui-Gon, Obi-Wan, Darth Maul come to mind, even though Darth Maul has had a reissue, just like she did. He still needs work. And then other characters, Sebulba! I'm betting everything on Sebulba. You know what I'm saying, man? Stuart, absolutely, man. Could have done a lot more. Also, one big thing for myself is a vehicle that's never been ever done, which is the Bongo, the underwater sub. If I was running Hasbro, you would have got that this year, ladies and gentlemen. Plus, I would have decommissioned the goddamn 6-inch line, man. I spit on this 6-inch line. I can't stand it, man. It does my nut in. Bruh. I'm just a bit selfish, ladies and gentlemen. I'm a big fan of 3 3/4 inch, and I see that line as a hindrance to getting more stuff in this scale. Excuse my petulance, ladies and gentlemen, but that's just the way I feel. I'd sooner be honest about it. Boom.
Hello, Only One Kenobi. Only one. Unfortunately, this will probably be my last message to you, because I've just decided to leave the Star Wars community and just collect privately Star Wars stuff. But I did want to leave you a final question. And that final question is, have you seen The Force with Jesse? On his page, he has these little figure stands with different kind of pegs on it for every different size hole for the bottom of figures. Because I know how you are with your figure stands, and I think this might be something you might want to look into, because I think it's pretty cool that they have different size pegs for different size holes. So check it out if you want to, and may the Force be with you always.
My friend, that message didn't sound good, that you were leaving the community or something like that, or leaving collecting. That's nonsense. Change your mind on that one, my friend. Like Doomcock. We need you. That was a bad impression of Doomcock. Ladies and gentlemen, I have seen Jesse's stuff, and they are interesting stands. I haven't really experimented with shaving down. I mean, look at that. You see the way he's really high up there. There's talk of people have, and I should really try it out. If you shave down this stump there, it might fit a little snugger, but still, I think that if it's a smaller peg hole, like I'm going to show you some images of Jesse's stands now, and I'm going to leave a link to his video about them, which is very interesting. There's 4 different ways you can display his stands. They've got, I think there's a peg that's good for 6-inch. There's one that's, well, he said it's good for TVC, but you'd like to think that they would work for anything from Power of the Force 2 onwards, which is considered the modern era, which is, in fact, you're looking at a stand now, which is a modern stand. That's by Ian's Display Accessories. That is perfect for anything from Power of the Force 2 right all the way up to the 2015 Force Awakens line and Solo and all of that stuff. Any modern era stand with a deep peg hole. Hell, it would fit TVC stuff. They all had deep peg holes. But then you get to this modern era where they're all shallow and annoying. Crap like that. It annoys me like that. You need something smaller. So his stands do have a smaller stump or peg. I don't know if I could trust them though. I'm sure they would snugly fit on there, or get on better, I dare say, as opposed to being up on top of the, like a pimple on a prich, you know what I mean, like wedged onto that, which is also insecure. At least the feet will be on the ground. If that was a little lower, then at least his feet would be on the ground, is what I'm saying. So if the small peg that's on his stands would work like that, then that would be a blessing. But the other thing about Jesse's stands is it has a little kind of looks like a goal post, man. It sort of means that you could put the toe of a figure underneath. I think it, from what I gather from Jesse's video, you could have a 6-inch figure used for that, but I dare say 3 3/4 inch. But that brings me to my favourite stands of today, which is just because of the situation with these shallow peg holes. These, I've mentioned them many times in the past on the channel, are 3D printed by a different Ian Butler from IB3D. They're brilliant stands. The foot of the character just slides into that, whatever you want to call that, very dusty, into that bracket there, if you want to call it a bracket, I suppose, and they're perfect. I like black stands as well, so that's just a biased opinion. I dare say you could probably have clear stands like this that would be better, because the black does cover, I mean, these are dark footed characters I'm looking at anyway, but the black would cover part of the foot. But I just don't think it matters, because you only really need one foot in these stands, and then the other foot stands off it. Most of my characters I'll have standing like that, but if you have them in an action pose, as long as you've got a safe, secure footing on one foot, then you can have them stretching out beyond the stand. So definitely check out Jesse's video. I was very interested to see those stands of yours, Jess. A great idea. I think it's his own company as well, I think. Kessel Run Hair, or whatever you call it, Jess, forgive me. But I'm also going to use this opportunity to plug these stands. These are phenomenal, and I want more off you, Ian. I must talk to you. They have been immense. Still, interesting topic, very interesting topic. In fact, it's very important for people's collections, good figure stands, and there's another option for you, ladies and gentlemen. Check out Jesse's video below. I'm sorry, did I frighten you? Oh, let's wrap this one up now, ladies and gentlemen. I just want to finish on a few questions that I have screenshotted that were of interest. This one by Blake B3K says, "Hey man, huge fan here. I was wondering if you have any plans on doing Ben Quadinaros vids in the future. He's kind of like my fave, and I was wondering if you could maybe review him one more time. I love this bit now. I've put like 100 hours into your Ben review, and I wonder which one you mean. Do you mean the very first time I reviewed him when I didn't have him loose, or the subsequent one? I've got a video where I do have him loose. Check my channel out. I'm sure you know Blake if you've been interested in him. But I do have another video. Here's my little thing for you, man. I was going to film him for this episode, but even better than that, I am going to leave a link in the description of this video to a behind the scenes opening of Ben Quadinaros when I received the variant, and it's a kind of an unlisted video which is for Patreons and channel members only, but I'm going to leave a link to that in the description if you want to see that, my friend. Now here's an interesting one from Justin JC, sorry if I pronounced that wrong. And he has mentioned, and he's not the only one, somebody also asked about Tongori. He has said, hey, I have a question. I have noticed Tongori has been down for a long while. Do you have any insight? Now, I don't, and I have tried to go on Tongori. He still sort of like appears on Google. So if you type in Tongori on Google, you can see a link to his page. But the last time I tried to follow it, nothing happened. So it's still, obviously, the remnant of it is still out there, but I don't know what's going on with Tongori. I've not heard anything. So if anyone has any information on that, please do let us know in the comments or the live chat if you're watching live. Very interesting. Here's a long message here from Scott Borum. Forgive me if I don't read the whole thing out, but it's a nice message. You can pause it and read it. But I'll just cut to the question, and he says here, question for you. Given it's the 25th anniversary of The Phantom Menace, and they have released Qui-Gon, Obi-Wan and Maul in the Retro Collection, and the Black Series 3-pack of them, do you think they will release the 3 of them in TVC again anytime soon? Now that kind of is similar to the Stuart Norris question, which I've just answered. But I really do hope, if not this year, that we soon get those 3. Previously, I would have been against that. I would have been an advocate for characters we've never had, like Panaka. But they do need a massive update. My disappointment in the Qui-Gon and the Obi-Wan figure is as much that I have them facing away so you can't see their face on my shelf. The Maul's not that bad, but really, I think he could be made as good as the Clone Wars 1, as we've discussed before, but definitely Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon, they need a facial update, and it would be lovely if they drop that sometime soon before the end of the year, if not next year. Here's a question from Rob7229. Hey, O.O.K, question for the next Only One fans. What is your plan for the collection loose room? Are we going to get a return to chronological order for the film and TV shows, or just a random collection of goodness? Well, I'll just answer that straight away. Basically, my man, I haven't decided yet. I feel like I've got things on hold until the cantina arrives, you know what I mean? So I've got this sort of like empty patch on the main part of the room, where I'm thinking about having just nothing but Tatooine now. And chronological order, well, if that's the thing, man, that might happen still, because that is so heavily based in the New Hope era. There's every chance I'll have the cantina underneath the Falcon, and then below that I might have stuff from Empire and Jedi to keep the chronology going. But I don't know, man, as long as it looks good on the shelf, that's one thing I've learned, that the chronological thing is important to me. But at the end of the day, if it all looks nice and you get your best stuff there, especially as full as my room is, that's what's important, I guess. But yeah, man, I'll always be a fan of chronological order on my shelves where I can do it. And here is a question here from Dan Von Carr, which is a question I get a lot. This came in on either Instagram or maybe Messenger, but he said, Only One, quick question. If your collection room is pretty much like mine, do you have some sort of filter on your windows to protect the figures? Do you open the curtains when recording only? I don't want yellow troopers and brittle figures. Thanks. Well, this is a question I get so many times, and I guess it's people who are either new to the channel or I've never seen a video where I've talked about the UV protection I have. But yes, I do have UV protection on my windows, and also I have blinds. So I have the blinds down all the time. Only time I open the blinds are when I'm in there. But to back that up, because it does block out most of the light, the blinds, to back that up, I've also got UV protection on the windows, which I got my mate to do, or to help me do it. And yeah, it's just for peace of mind, really. But definitely recommend that for anyone who has got a loose figure room, for sure. Here's a question from Mustang Orbit. Really quickly, he asked me to talk about what my Star Wars book collection is. I will do that in a separate video, my friend, if you will. I haven't got time for it today, but I will do that. I will show you all the books I have in my collection. And one final one here from Lone Wolf 71, and I will go into a bit more detail with this in a separate video, maybe even in the next Only One fans if I get a chance. Question for you: if you had to pick 3 action figures from all time to represent your all-time favorite, what 3 would they be? And the first one that came to mind, I've always talked about him is, I'll keep this really brief because we're coming to the end of the show now. Concept art, Anakin Skywalker from the Legacy Collection, number 1. Number 2, probably, I don't know why I keep choosing this as a figure that I love, but the Woof from TVC, love that figure. And finally, I just was looking around my room, there's so many good figures to choose from, but I've always loved Captain Fordo. It's just a figure that you don't even need to he just looks so good in one pose. Just a figure that's just so incredible, and I put it in one pose when I took it out of the packaging, and I've never taken him out of that pose. He just looks badass. Pulling the trigger, man. Brilliant. Great figure. So I think that's all we've got time for today, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for watching live or on the rerun. Thank you for the contributors. That's Daniel Chart and Tim from Bosk's Bounty. The numbers that you were talking about, boys, were roughly what I was thinking as well. And it will be interesting to watch this space, boys, on the value of the Razor Crest. Very interesting. And indeed, that's all. Happy Halloween, ladies and gentlemen. Don't have nightmares. Thank you for watching. I've been Only One Kenobi. You're my one and Obies. The Only One fans. Boo.